actively following him, I would say like having that relationship probably the past like couple of years.
Okay, a couple years, awesome. All right, so before we dive into your testimony, just give us like a minute of kind of just like your childhood, like what you've been through, what your life was like pre-Jesus.
So growing up, I kind of like, I was born into going to church. Most of my family is like very Christian background, so I got a lot of learning and teaching kind of who Jesus was, but didn't really understand him too much. And so going up through that church background, I didn't really do any terrible things. I did the basic like rebellious teenage things of like, foul language and all that stuff when I was in middle school and high school, but beyond that I really didn't do too much, and there was just no firm relationship with Jesus, which is why I may have stayed within the church, but I didn't know who he was.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I feel like that's probably like half the people in this room can probably relate to that. Like, you knew church, you knew religion, you knew the motions, but you didn't actually really know Jesus yet, right?
Yeah.
So what was the moment, or like, what did the process look like for you coming to know Jesus, like the beginning stages of that?
So the beginning stages were more of with my godfather. He really helped a lot with making sure I was grounded in knowing Jesus. And so he sent me a bunch of links. He taught me a lot. He made sure like I was going through and firmly understanding and having a relationship with him. And with that, it's like, it was really what helped me to start forming one with him. Because even in the background, like God was like showing me like things of what he's done in my past to keep me knowing him and keep me like understanding who he was, so that I can have this relationship with him.
That's good. Gotta pick up the microphone. So, since you actually like started to get to know Jesus, how has he moved in your life? Like, what about Alex is different with Jesus, the real Jesus?
What's different about me is I've devoted a lot more time with him. So it's taken me from focusing on all these like worldly things of like, video games and like television shows and like, race cars and all this other stuff that just have really no meaning at the end of the day, to like very pressing in with Jesus and having that time with him, seeing like things in a different way that have allowed me to live a better life ultimately.
So what do you mean by better life? Like, what is a better life?
It's a life where there's not really much stress, not much worry. Like there's not, no anger, it's all peace, all love, all caring. It's a lot of the fruits of the Spirit.
Yeah, that's awesome. So would you say like this has taken a while to develop? Like it's been over time that this has happened? Like, do you feel like your relationship is growing deeper and deeper with Jesus, or do you feel like it was just like an on switch? Like all of a sudden you were like a different person, all the fruits of the Spirit overnight?
It definitely was progression. It was a lot of progression because with me already kind of knowing who he was growing up in the church, it's not like I was gonna have that on switch of instantly knowing, because there was a lot of things that, within the church that, they taught that I kind of believed. So it was just really progression.
Yeah, that's awesome. So just for fun, if you guys like grew up in the church, if there's anyone who like grew up in the church and can relate to Alex's story, can you just raise your hand? Okay, so for one last nugget, if there's anything that you would like to say or encourage these people with that raise their hand that have a similar testimony to you that are here at Belong Tonight, what would you say?
I would say that just always know God is always there and he never gives up.
Amen. So good. So good. Awesome. Thank you. Can you give Alex a round of applause?